Hello, hello.
Hey, Sweats, how we doing, man?
Oh, not bad. You?
Getting by best I can.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Today was one of those another crazy days at work, I'll tell you.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
So, have I got a treat for you, dude?
All right.
I actually went through. Let's go, Babs. I went through and I put together some slides for tonight.
Ah, all right.
So I've got a recap of Maniac Mansion. Nice. I got a recap of Niagara Falls Comic Con, our little bet adventure,
Yep.
and
Pseudo Deadpool.
I love the pseudo Deadpool.
Yeah.
And I also got basically a little adventure games, just some slides, just so we can look at them, kind of thing here.
All right.
Just throw them up here. Let's introduce everybody. Let's introduce yourselves to the people in the chat.
Who all is here?
Oh, we got real Babs for sure.
All right.
Anyways, we just get this done here. Everybody, in case you're wondering who these two guys are, this is Switz from Switz_TV. I am Uncle Gutty, the retro historian, and this is Old Man Theater. This is where me and Switz get together. We just basically ramble on about all things geek, stuff that we remember when we were younger.
This is the answer to us not being in the same city anymore, not being able to just drop by each other's houses and say hello and shoot the poop and talk about all the things that are on our mind.
Exactly. Switz and I went to university together.
21st century version of shooting the poop.
Well, like I said, we went to university together. How long ago was that? Okay, so I graduated in 95. That was 30 years. It's 30 years, Switz.
30, 20, yeah.
So for over 30 years, I've known Switz.
The 90s weren't that long ago, I'm told.
30 years.
Only if you're doing math and you remember to carry the one.
Oh my God. Oh man. Anyways, let me see here.
Jeez, it's been 30 years?
Has been 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I was gonna send my link to my mom, but I'll just really get. I guess we'll get in that. Wait, hang on a second here. My mom still watches me, and she goes, "Hey, let me know when you're on. Let me know when you're on, Bub." And that's my nickname. She calls me Bub. So let's start. But anyways,
join us.
What's that?
How does your mom join us? Through Facebook or through
Facebook?
Oh, okay. Yep.
I told her to follow Switz TV, but I don't know if she is or not. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Anyways, Niagara Falls Comic Con is less than 50 odd days away.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. As you may
dropping like flies, but also appearing like flies.
As you may or may not know, Switz and I like to play a little game here, basically, where we guess who is going and who's not going. Away. 49 days away, yeah.
49 days, 18 hours, and some odd minutes according to their ticker.
Go. Basically, Switz and I have a game where we play because, as it is with Comic Cons, guests, how do I put it? Cancel all the time, either due to work or other issues such as visas and so forth and all that.
Some of them who confuse Niagara Falls with the Niagara Falls in New York State, not the Niagara Falls, Ontario.
And can't cross the border because some
outstanding arrest warrants, possibly, or
So boop boop. So Switz and I, when they start announcing guests, we were writing them down and guessing who would attend and who would not attend. And we also basically took a guess at the price they would charge because they don't sign for free.
No,
they do not. So I'm going to throw up the Deadpool here. Call it Niagara Falls Comic Con 2023 Deadpool Roundup. So here's what we did. Went through the current rosters of guests, figured out who would cancel and who would attend, and guess the autograph price for each guest, basically. There are about 40 guests that are going.
Which is really a pretty big turnout, which is nice to see.
It is a huge turnout.
In my mind, the best thing about these Comic Cons is the return to normalcy.
100%.
We're getting that fun that we lost with COVID back.
Yeah, like remember for almost 2 years and a bit, we were unable to really gather in large numbers and socialize. and like the con last year was pretty good, but like I said, we were pushing 40. They probably would have about 42 guests. They probably do. Well, technically, I left a few off because there was that Bonnie whatever that was at it. So there's probably about 40 between 42 and 44 guests that are coming, which is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice because they do a really good job of getting a good cross section of guests. They don't lean too heavily into sci-fi or too heavily into superhero or too heavily into horror or too heavily into wrestling. They do a pretty decent job of leveling the playing field. So there's someone there for everybody to see.
I'll make a note too. Like it's a Comic-Con, but it's not a Comic-Con. To me, it's a pop culture celebration.
Yeah, they've stopped being a Comic-Con many years ago, I'd say.
Yep. Niagara Falls does it the best, in my opinion. They bring a good mix of horror, movie, like pop culture people. They have drummers coming. Tom Petty's drummer and the drummer of the Go-Go's is coming. Where else are you going to see those people?
In the same room.
In the same room, yeah.
Which also dispels the myth that they're the same person, because we will see them in the same room.
Yeah. As random as it seems, I like this kind of mix. I like these I wouldn't call them headliners or A guests, because these other people have some really, really good stories you got to hear.
They're a little bit more real.
Yeah.
Because they kind of worked their way from the bottom and maybe made it to a top and have fallen back down a little bit again sometimes.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy seeing me some of those high class stars, like when Shatner was there last time, snubbing people. That was enjoyable. That was enjoyable to watch. But I digress. So, drum roll, please. I'm going to announce the winner of the Deadpool, the cancellation guess. The answer is, it was a tie this year.
At
the time of this broadcast, there are 6 cancellations. John Delancey, Q. Alex Soe, I forget who that one is. Carrie Elwes, Wesley from Princess Bride. Matthew Lewis, Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter. That was a big one. That was
canceled.
Mickey Dolenz, Last Surviving Monkey. He's got other stuff to do apparently. And Tomer Capone, who was Frenchie from The Boys. I had Switz 2-1 because I had Carrie and Mickey, and they both canceled. I had them 2-1, and I swore that Matthew Lewis, Neville Longbottom, would not cancel, and the bugger canceled last. I was like, oh man, I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed.
And that's disappointing, because did he cancel the first time, or was he canceled because the whole convention was canceled? I think he was 2020, and it was
I think so too.
Canceled, but he didn't make it because of that.
Yeah, Elvis, I'm not surprised. He actually is doing another con at the same time in Florida, the same weekend. Mickey Dolenz
to home. Maybe it pays better.
Mickey Dolenz, the monkey. I'm not sure why he's not coming.
Maybe Elvis knows now he's not welcome in Niagara Falls.
John Delancey Q. That was a little disappointing. I wanted to see him.
I did too. I thought he'd be really fun to hear and to talk to. Sorry,
he would. The good news is Elvis was on my list. I wouldn't mind getting a Wesley autograph, but you know what? I'm not upset about the ones on here that canceled. But it was good though, and technically there's still time.
Oh yeah. You being a big Harry Potter fan, I think it's disappointing that Lewis canceled.
I think it's disappointing for a lot of people.
Big Star Trek fans, I think it's disappointing that John Delancey canceled.
I'm very disappointed by Delancey. I really want to see him most of all that list. Delancey was top of my list to go see.
Yeah, everyone else on the list is like, okay. It would have been neat to see Mickey Dolenz, to hear some Monkey's Tales.
Now, the other thing too about Niagara Falls Comic-Con, they always try to get a Star Wars guest, a Star Trek guest, and a Doctor Who guest, a mix of it. Delancey was the Star Trek guest.
Yep.
And Matthew Lewis was one of the bigger names. A lot of people are not happy, but it is what it is. With these cancellations, that makes the Trailer Boys the headliners, technically. Trailer Park Boys the headliners.
Boys, yes.
Yeah, they're the headliners, technically, in my opinion. They have not announced any really guest of honor. You notice that?
No, because usually there's like one big headliner, unless they're calling Ric Flair their big headliner because of the price that he commands.
We'll get into that. I got a slide for that. So, moving on to guessing the price of each autograph correctly. Da-da-da-da-da.
Boom.
Winner was Switz. Of the 40 guests, Switz got 9 within the closest. And a lot of his guesses were within $5. I got 8. Perfect guesses. Switz got 8 out of 40. I got 7 out of 40. And I think we could have done a lot better once we figured out the minimum price and all that. We'll do better next year.
Oh yeah. We kind of just did this as a lark. We had no research, no science behind us at all.
We had some experience from the last con, what we could get for the middle of the road guests and stuff like that.
We were also trusting our own old men memories.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is the prices, like the surprise prices, which check this out. The next slide, as you said, Switz.
Boom. Whoa.
These two people are the most expensive autographers at the con, and Ric Flair's cost blew me away. $130 for an autograph.
Both guessed he was going to be. I said he was going to be $100. You said 110.
I said 110. You laughed. I was half joking. 130.
I thought that $100 threshold was kind of where they would cap it, or he would cap it. Just thinking, for sticker shock alone, people will not pay that much.
We have 4 guests that are 100 or over.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, Giancarlo, Jesse Ventura, and Bret Hart. Yeah. Ventura and Bret Hart are $100 for an autograph.
And Ventura might be a little overpriced. Bret Hart, I think, is probably
he's fairly priced.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think both of them got it. It's like, we'll put it at 100. That's one bill. That's not that hard to do math with. If we have to make a change, it's easy.
Yeah. But Flair, $220 for a belt, $550 Canadian for a 1982 All-Star rookie card. But you know what? I looked up on eBay.
And you have to provide your own belt and card, right?
Yeah. I looked up on eBay.
That's not buying a belt and getting it autographed.
No, you got to provide it too. At least with the autograph 8x10. That's a bonus. But that All-Star rookie card, if you get it autographed and get it graded, people are trying to sell it for about $3 to $4 grand Canadian. I haven't seen any successful sales yet. So he knows his market.
Yep.
Giancarlo 110, which I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed myself. He's been there twice before.
Yeah.
He was
not much before, I'm sure.
He was not. I'm pretty sure he was between 70 and 80 the last 2 times.
I would assume so. I mean, you'd think that he could keep his prices the same, even though everyone's claiming inflation and exchange rate and cost of living and just general possibly greed. But you'd think that he could keep it the same because he's not an AAA star. And he's making some pretty good Disney money now.
Well, between The Mandalorian, The Boys, and Breaking Bad, his stock is up, way up, and will continue to rise. But if I went and looked up Ric Flair's American cost, it's $89.
Yep.
Do the 30% exchange rate? Yeah, it's 130 Canadian.
It's about 120, isn't it?
Well, you got there's the shipping and handling stuff you got to do.
Well, that's true. 120, 125, and I mean, I think you'd offset that with a bowl of poutine.
You could.
Yeah.
Here are 2 other guys I picked out for basically being a surprise. Jesse Ventura, I picked him out, obviously. $100 for Ventura. Bret Hart, I'd pay $100 for if I had to, because Bret Hart's career as a professional wrestler, going to the Dove Star and all that, it extends forever. Ventura, I want to say his star is past. I'm sorry. I know there's some fans from the 70s who might like him. His time as governor, but what has he really done since then? I don't think he should command $100.
He was in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was. He never lived that one down.
Yep.
And the other one I picked down, I'm very sorry, this is Nathan Mitchell. He is the stunt performer inside the Black Noir costume. He does not speak in the show. Lead in Marine 5. $70 for an autograph. That's,
it's a bit pricey for someone you don't know what he looks like.
For Niagara Falls Comic Con, $70 is basically what I would consider basically a fair price for a mainstream actor.
Yeah. I'd put that maybe as like an A- price for an A actor.
Yeah, I'm agreed. Like, this was beyond incredible.
Yeah.
Now, for deals, here's 2 that stuck out right away for me. These are 2 I found. Trish Stratus, $60. Like, I think that's again, paying $60 for a piece of ink on a photograph may seem dumb to some people, but hey, you know what? If you like buy Legos, go buy your Legos and stuff.
Yep. If you like meeting celebrities, go meet your celebrities and pay some money to get an
Exactly.
autograph and a picture taken and say hello. Yeah.
Thoughts on Trish Dash there, Switz?
Um, being that she's been there before and is a Canadian icon, I think that's a great price, and I think it's gonna be really fun to talk to her there.
She's got a very strong legacy in and outside the WWE.
She's kind of, if you remember the old wrestling attitude era, with the Staple War or Stable Wars with like the Hart Foundation and all those guys going against DX and all that stuff. Bret Hart and all those guys were booed mercilessly in the States, but they were heroes in Canada. Trish Stratus is the same. She can do no wrong in Canada.
Mm-hmm. I thought for sure she'd be 70 or 75.
Yep.
Because she's the foundation of the women's wrestling of the recent WWE history. Canadian personality, all around good person. Lives in
They've
Toronto.
got a lot of building block people for women's wrestling there, actually.
Yep, they do.
They've got Wendy Richter and they've got Alundra Blaze / Medusa.
Yeah.
And Trish Stratus and Lita.
And Lita. And again, Lita is 62. So they're all a good price. The other one that shocked me, because I was prepared to pay $80 for this guy, for Behringer, $60.
He's the substitute. He's the sniper.
Now, to be fair, Behringer has not done much since Major League. That's probably his recent peak. That would be fair.
He's done 9 sniper sequels.
Yeah. But what's shocking, though, if you go back before Major League and look in the 70s, early 80s, this guy was a major in major films. The Big Chill.
Look at Mr. Goodbar. He was in Big Chill, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Mr. Goodbar. 2 or 3 other, like, we're talking high caliber A-list movies he was in, and very well respected and all that. I don't know. I'm not going to question the fact that he's still coming. I still think he's going to cancel. I still think he's going to cancel because he was scheduled to come before and he did cancel.
Yep.
But yeah, and like I said, I'll probably get basically the Jake Taylor photo. We have to basically, right?
Do you want to find a Jake Taylor jersey?
I was gonna go look for basically Butch and Cassidy, the Sundance, the early years.
Early years.
Yeah, really probably get punched in the face, but hey, I love this turkey of a film you're in. Can you sign the autograph for me?
Do you get a Cleveland Guardians uniform signed?
I call them the Good Indians.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm also kind of curious if he does a Q&A, because I wonder what he would talk about. Probably a lot of Major League, right?
I would think that he would just talk about his career in as a whole. I think there'd be a lot of Major League questions, and I think there'd probably be some sniper questions.
I'd love to go
Platoon as well.
I'm not sure. Isn't that terrible? I want to say no, but the guy does love war movies.
Yes, yes, he does.
Yeah. I would like to go to his Q&A if we can catch it and do some research and ask him about one of those.
Yeah, he was in Platoon. Yeah,
he was in Platoon.
Yep.
Yeah, Sniper Platoon, The Substitute, Sniper 2. Yeah,
Sniper 3, Sniper 4, Sniper 5.
And one of the things too, basically, is going to this con is not just meeting the celebrities and getting an autograph, but to go to the Q&As and hear their stories. Some are better storytellers than others. But I'm kind of curious to that too.
I'd say James Doohan was the best storyteller.
You didn't pull any punches.
No, he didn't. And he wasn't gonna if he ever ran into Captain Kirk.
Regale the audience that story about when the young man asked if there would be a chance of him and William Shatner getting together and patching things up.
He wasn't so young, but he was definitely a Star Trek fan. He was dressed out in full uniform and stood up to ask James Doohan, aka Scotty, his question. Mr. Doohan, if you run into Mr. Shatner here at the convention, will you two shake hands and be friends again? And he'd be lucky if I didn't punch him in the mouth.
Oh man. But yeah, that's my thoughts of the con. Looking forward to going. Like I said, part of it is just to walk around, and like we've been there so much now, we're starting to see some of the vendors that recognize us. It's like seeing old friends.
Yep.
Like I said, hopefully we'll see the Kojiko people. That'd be nice to see. Mr. Effin Birds, Aaron
I
should
don't
be
think
there.
he's there this year. He's got another convention.
Probably going out west. He makes a lot of money out in Calgary, apparently.
Yeah.
But basically, just walking around, seeing the stuff and all that. Like I said, I've got one in town, the Ottawa Comic Convention. It's not as good as Niagara Falls, in my opinion. Niagara Falls.
And who's going to be at the Ottawa convention?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, already announced.
I will.
It'll be very interesting to see his announced price for that one.
I'll be interested too if he charges. It's got to be 110,
It
or
better
more.
Be.
Ottawa.
I could see him charging more just because it's the bigger city.
Could be. We'll see though.
You can equate it as more of a more successful city. Possibly the people have more money to spend, more disposable income.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Comic-Con?
I just can't wait for it to happen.
Me too, man. I gotta wait. Like I said, we're in the mode now where we go all 3 days now.
Yeah.
Day one is scout, relax, walk around, size things up. Saturday's usually costumed. I got no idea what to do for cosplay this year. I'm kind of half lazy, half not into it because of.
And a quick little tip for people who are going to the conventions.
Yeah.
If it's a 3-day convention, your best prices are going to be on Sunday because the last day, because people don't want to bring their merchandise or their gear back with them, or bring back as little as possible. But if you're going to buy some big ticket item or something potentially breakable or irreplaceable, get it on the first night. One, because it won't be there the second day, and two, because you don't have to walk around for as long with it.
No, that's good advice.
Yep.
Sunday is bargain day.
Little tips I've picked up or taught myself.
Yep. Sunday 2:00, that's bargain time. That's when they start making deals on their merchandise at the booths to get those last sales in. I don't pay
cash
retail
is
for
king.
Nothing.
Bring
cash is king.
You always haggle the way down a bit with cash.
Yeah. At Niagara Falls Comic-Con, they do have tap, but the Wi-Fi is unreliable. Yeah, well, Wi-Fi is unreliable, but cash can open doors for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, they used credit cards to pick a lock in the old movie.
Oh, and the other thing too is sometimes your guests watch who you want to go see. They're not necessarily there all days.
Yeah.
A lot of them just come Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday, Sunday, if you're lucky. So double check that in the schedule as always.
Or sometimes they show up really late on a Friday afternoon because they went out and got
inebriated behind the back of the building with a staffer.
Great Scott.
I'll probably do some TikToks from there. I'll put some stuff on TikTok. I don't use that much, but we'll see. We'll have some fun. You'll definitely get a rundown from Switz and I when we're done.
Yep.
You might even get a slideshow for all you know if you're good.
Oof. If you're good, we'll live stream our visit there.
Oh my God, we could.
If we can figure that out.
Oh, I can do that. I'm not sure how it's gonna look, but well, we'll see what happens. No promises.
Yes.
All right, that's my thoughts on Niagara Falls. All right, let me see here. Adventure games. General thoughts.
Point and click adventure games.
Point and click. I've got a whole bunch. I got a nice slide for them, but let's talk about them in general.
They were the first video games or home computer games, really.
Pretty much.
Because they took advantage of the keyboard. They took advantage of the graphics, took advantage of all the tools that were at their disposal. They were also some of the most frustrating games.
Yes. The Pac-Man clones didn't come first, trust me. Yeah. It was these little adventure games that people wrote with limited programming skills with basically it became a game of can you guess what word I used in this command? Look, get, grab, whatever kind of thing. Yep. No idea what they were going with, basically opening up. And now I'm glad they moved to the point click where you actually click the commands,
like
push, open, close, read, whatever.
Walk to. Yeah.
And eventually they just got rid of it all together, and it just clicked objects with actions all together. Bless you twice, sir.
Right.
So, like I said, I've got a presentation later. I'll go through just some like key highlights, but
Yep.
The very first game I can remember playing, and this is actually even before Labyrinth. Yeah, I'll say Labyrinth and the Trash Lady was the first game I remember playing.
Yep.
It was basically a mage you had to walk through, could type commands. You had to basically find clues and kill the Minotaur.
Yep.
That one I remember. That was from 1980. That's one I remember playing the most right off the start. What was your first adventure game you remember, Switz?
It was that Canadian Oregon Trail game.
Yes.
Or was it called Klondike Trail?
I'll look it up and see. I think it was, though, basically.
And basically, yeah, it wasn't so much dysentery and stuff. Oh, give me 1 second here. I have to drop out for a second.
No problem. So back in mid 80s, early 90s, the Canadian government sought to put PCs into schools to help basically our technological awareness. Instead of going out and buying decent PCs, they paid someone to build a PC. And we got something called the Icon. It was this monstrous beige machine with an amber screen and a very loud keyboard, not a lot of functionality. Typically, government wasting their money on stuff and all that. One of the games that Swiss was talking about basically was it was not like the Oregon, it wasn't the Oregon Trail, but it was like the Oregon Trail with a Canadian spin on it. And the same thing. You had to basically go through, survive, click through, and all that. And if you were in Ontario, you probably played the game. And if you're Canadian, you might remember the game too. It's kind of funny because I don't think I didn't actually play the Oregon Trail till much later. I remember playing that game a lot on the Icons. You could die. I think there was a couple of places you could die along it. And the reason why you're allowed to play it is because it was considered educational. How educational? I don't know how educational it was exactly. It was kind of funny though, because we didn't have any other games beside that on there. It was just basically some simple programming, some very terrible word processing program that was purely text-based, like WordPerfect 4.2, but not WordPerfect 4.2. And that that Canadian adventure game for the Icon computer. I'll look it up here a little bit. Oh, I can't find it. We'll do some research on it. Like I said, the Icon computer was such an obscure moment in Canadian history. I don't think maybe would remember it. And don't forget, this came out basically around the same time as the PET, the Commodore PET, which I consider the superior machine. A little smaller machine with a green screen. But oh gosh, it had a lot of adventure games on it that you played, and it was basically all of the characters were just simply like hi Hemi. We're talking about obscure games. I was taking a call. We're talking like a J was you and a K was like the monster and all that. And that reminds me. So one of the games back then, this is about mid 80s. You might remember this game. It was called Hack, available for most PC games. And what it was, it put you in a randomly generated dungeon. All the symbols, all the letters and all that meant something. And you had a dog, and you could actually roll your character up. It was all random. We'd go through this dungeon that was randomly generated, picking up potions and treasure and trying to survive. And it was a different game every single time. So you picked up basically a clouded green potion one time and drank it. It was a healing potion. It wasn't necessarily basically a healing potion next time. When it came with Windows, I'm a ski free kid. So you must have played like Pinball and Solitaire. That's one of the ones that were installed with Windows, I recall. I was quite lucky. My dad, bless him, I certainly do miss him. Was always basically saw the value of cutting edge technology. So we had one of the first kind of computers, that was out in our home. Dad started a thing called First Nations Technical Institute. It was a technical and computer school on the reserve that trained a lot of people with computers, post-secondary programs and stuff like that. So I was blessed to have access to IBM PS2 computers, Tandy 1000s, and a whole slew of games that never stopped. Obviously, King's Quest. I remember that came out. I had that, and I had a few other ones too as well. But yeah, like I said, I was lucky. I always had a PC right from, I want to say, the age of 11 or 12. and I'd play like these adventure games like this, like Hack and the command line games and all that. Uh, for a guy whose sibling was like 5 years his junior. They were a way basically to escape, especially when I wasn't near a major town, all that kind of stuff. My adventure time for adventure gaming, I say King's Quest started. That basically the 3D graphics going through and doing the command lines, but the SSI Gold Boss games of the 80s was where basically I really found my passion. These Gold Boss games, we call them the Gold Boss games. They're made by SSI, which was Strategic Systems International. They came in a gold box, and they were all related to a D&D property of some type. Either be like Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance, whatever. And you could roll up a party of characters, go through an adventure, and try and survive and stuff like that, and have character progression of levels and spells and all that. I would play those games like, repeatedly, basically. Some of the earlier games, you could actually carry your characters over. You can make a character in Pool of Radiance and carry it through the next 2 games. The Dragonlance series, which I should cover basically in my own little time. Dragonlance was a major fantasy campaign created by TSR. Well, scratch that. Created by Tracy and I forget the other person, the Hickmans, for TSR. It was a major fantasy campaign. Starting adventure modules, spawned a successful series of novels that were read voraciously by me and many others, and they're still spawning modules. And these video games that you can actually, create characters and live out in that universe. That was part of the allure of playing these Gold Boss games. I like playing D&D, but I had no one near me to play D&D with. These Gold Boss games allowed me to do that. And then growing up these adventure games, it was kind of nice because there was something for everyone. Like King's Quest, that had appeal to everybody. You were basically Sir Graham trying to find the treasures to claim the throne. You didn't need basically brawn. You didn't need to shoot anything or really kill anything. All you need basically was a good vocabulary, patience, and be good at problem solving. And the King's Quest series are still going. Like that was made by Sierra, and they spawned off other games. So if you didn't like King's Quest, they had Space Quest. You're Roger Wilkill, the space janitor, and that was more tongue-in-cheek satire. Absolutely fun to play. There was also Police Quest. You were a cop that came with a police manual, and you had to basically, do police procedural work. And they had Leisure Suit Larry, which I can't talk much about because it was very 18 plus. It was kind of a filthy game, and that spawned many sequels. But once, like I said, we had the text-based games, and then we had the text-based with the graphics, moving the character around. People got frustrated because they didn't know the commands they could use, basically. It'd be like, get book. I don't see it here. Get paper. I don't see that here. Get newspaper, and you pick it up. Trying to do that repeatedly frustrated people, so they moved to the point and click interfaces of the early 90s. Maniac Mansion, Data Tentacle, had commands at the bottom. You just had to click combinations of commands to actually go through them. That really helped a lot. And then basically the commands were done away and just turned to just really a straight point and click. Click here, click there, get stuff. Very easy. How you doing, Switz? Like Switz is still a bit indisposed. So I'm gonna pull up my little slideshow here while he's there. So I went through and I got some key games from the past. And I was surprised at this one. Zork was the granddaddy of command-based games that were popular. I would have swore that Labyrinth was the first one. No. Labyrinth came out in 1980. Zork came out in 1977. And it was split into 3 games, Zork 1, 2, and 3. And it was kind of like being a nerd in the 80s. You had to basically be able to quote Monty Python, be able to do the Vulcan salute, the Vulcan greeting, and you had to be able to know how to solve Zork. Those are basically your geek creds in the 80s and all that. I played it. It's very open ended. There's no basically A, B, C, D. As long as you got to an ending someplace, it counted. And the beauty of these text-based games basically is you weren't worried about winning or getting a high score. You just want to finish. And like I said, Zork, like a lot of people made their own and all that, but Zork was basically the one that started it all, and it was one of the best, one of the most famous. That's probably now been lost in time. Like Zork was super popular. Hey, Switz.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Real
talking
life
about
and
Zork.
work calling.
Just talking about Zork.
Oh yes, good
It
old
was
Zork.
It was the granddaddy. I played 1 and 2, and I finished 1 and 2, but I never played 3.
Yep.
But everybody talked about Zork in the 80s, right?
They were hard to finish because, again, like we said earlier, you were kind of guessing
Yep.
what the commands were.
Exactly.
I see that Hemi Cakes has dropped by.
Yep, she was talking earlier. It was hard to guess the commands and guess what the object. If you saw something, and like you couldn't just say you see a paper on the ground, get paper. That's not what it is. It was like either newspaper or something like that. I've had some of those problems.
And it wasn't as obvious as some of the old school animation where you'd see like the hidden wall that was going to move on the Scooby Doo cartoon in a different shade because
Nope.
it was drawn on top of the background. You didn't know what was an active piece or what was actually part of the background.
Some of these older games, you had to do stuff like you see a paper on the ground, look paper. The paper is NIST's newspaper. Get
Pick up
newspaper.
newspaper.
Yeah, you couldn't say get paper. You had to say get newspaper, whatever. But
Yeah.
it was very annoying.
Yep.
And I was talked about this one, Labyrinth. This is what it looked like.
Yep.
It was literally just a procedural, like it was literally a maze, and you could actually type stuff and all that. Wasn't very complicated.
Did they have like ASCII pictures of the monsters on some of the walls as well?
There was
Or am I
graffiti on one of the
thinking
walls in
no?
this one. There's graffiti, but not ASCII pictures.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking about that. Remember games like there was a game called Hack. I don't know if you remember that one. Where basically you were like a letter, I think it was P, and you had a dog. And every letter and symbol meant something that you had to actually print out and see what it was. It would randomly generate a map as you went, and there'd be objects. So if you saw like a percent sign, that was a potion. You could pick up the potion and it would say, "This is a green he's a green potion. Do you want to drink it?"
Yep.
Some games it was healing potion. Sometimes it was poison. You didn't know. And I just play the heck out of that one. Did you play any more any command games? Like I said, Zork and this one, the ones that stick out to me. I played that with these two a lot.
Did we figure out if it was called the Klondike Trail?
No, I didn't really. I tried to look for the icon, but there's a Klondike Trail, but it's an actual Klondike Trail game.
Oh, okay. The one that we used to play that was like the first one that we had in our classroom computer way back in 1980,
Mhm.
80, back in the 80s, yes, or whatever it was. It was the beautiful green screen graphics, but there were no graphics. But you had to figure out how far you could hike in a day or something like that, and based on the weather conditions they were going to throw at you, and how far you wanted to walk, and what speed you were walking at. And you would like mine gold.
Like everything was like what do you call it? Educational on these icon
It was obviously an educational learning game. Yes.
Yeah, because that's what made it kind of fair.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for it. But I was mentioning too, where you're offline there too. The Commodore PET was out at the same time.
Mm,
and it was to me it was superior. It was a superior computer with superior games
to the TRS-80.
Yeah. The Commodore PET. It was a little. It was the same shape but smaller than the icon and green screen.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And it had like like a mining game, and a hack, like dungeon hack kind of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how I remember. But yeah, like I said, after that, Ultima came out. Ultima.
Yep.
Like this was like, this
leaps and bounds ahead of anything.
Yeah, and here basically same thing. You weren't so much using commands to get stuff. You could, but this was basically a true dungeon crawl, looking for treasure, looking for the big bad guy to defeat at the end and all that, and leveling up a character. Launched in 81, spawned 11 games, going up all the way to 2000. Richard Garriott, aka Lord British, got very rich off this. And the leader of the round of Ultima was Lord British, so he made himself Lord British. Richard Garriott's been involved in a lot of game design since Ultima and during Ultima. I made a lot of money off it. They went to space, eh?
Oh,
He used to own a huge
you remember
mansion.
the old copy protections on these things?
Oh yeah. Look on page X, page Y. Tell me
Yep.
this word.
Page 42, third word.
You take your wheel and match up these symbols.
Yep. Yeah, those are the toughest ones. I hated those.
Yeah. Leisure Suit Larry didn't so much have copy protection, but had an age challenge.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this is back for the internet and Wikipedia. It asks you who was in the Beatles and stuff like that. So if you couldn't answer the question, you couldn't play Leisure Suit Larry.
You figured you were old enough to know it. Yeah.
Some of these games, go ahead, your sweat. Sorry.
And the Leisure Suit Larry game was very risque for the time, but really wasn't.
It was basically just a notch down below Hangover humor.
Yeah.
Without much of the intense graphics.
I mean, the VGA and EGA graphics weren't very titillating.
No. Oh no, gosh. No. But
hey,
once we got 16 colors, that was like high end.
Yeah. Those poor kids who had to play Leisure Suit Larry and all that still on a monochrome monitor.
Yeah, and you could play on a monochrome monitor back then.
Yep. Oh, and if you were lucky, you had that amber monochrome one.
I remember my Tandy 1000 was green, and the second computer we got had 3 colors: white, purple, and pink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember
my first one had the amber. Monochrome.
I remember we got VGA. We thought we were hot poop then, right?
Yep.
With like 9 colors. So after that, we're back to text games again. Ever play this one?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Ever finish it?
No, because it was massive, wasn't it?
It wasn't massive. It was effing complicated.
Yeah.
It took me over 2 years to finish it.
Okay, so that's maybe why it felt like it was massive.
Yeah, because a lot of people couldn't get out of the first room.
Yeah.
This game was notoriously hard on purpose. It was just brutally frustrating.
If you didn't have the book beside you, I don't think you could do it.
Well, even having the to get out of the room, you had to open your eyes first, right? And then get the aspirin and had to do certain things and all that.
Yeah.
It was not obvious what you had to do. Some of the puzzles I had was absolutely brutal. Remember the babblefish?
Yep.
The babelfish?
Yep.
So there's one part where you can actually get on the Vogon ship and you need a babelfish in your ear to hear the announcements, basically. And it involves basically pushing a button, a fish comes out and goes down a drain. You have to block the drain, block a little hatch with the robot comes out, and do 2 other things before it goes into your ear that you normally wouldn't figure out.
Yeah.
If you didn't have all the objects and all that. It was very hard.
How did people figure this stuff out with no internet?
Some people just basically kept trying and trying and trying.
Yeah.
I wonder if the devs leak stuff on Usenet.
I was going to say there was the BBSs, right?
BBS. I think devs might have leaked something, but a lot of times it's just trial and error.
Yep.
Sequel was promised but never delivered. The computer school on the reserve got a lot of copies of this. Inside this box came a microscopic space fleet, which was a basically empty plastic bag, and peril sensitive sunglasses, which were just basically black cardboard glasses you put on. Yep. These glasses would turn black every time you were in danger, basically. And there was a piece of fluff in there too. Oh yes, belly lint. So I had a piece of cotton in there too. Infocom. This is one of their first attempts at an adventure game. You could argue their success. You know what else they made though? Star Trek 25th anniversary adventure game, the point click game.
Okay.
Infocom later on in the later 80s started producing some fantastic adventure games. Star Trek was one of them I remember quite well playing. And Infocom was a big name for a long time.
Who did the Star Trek game on the NES? Was that Infocom? Was that the 25th anniversary one?
It might have been. Let me look it up real quick.
because that was a fun game. It was a harder one too.
Believe it or not. Drum roll, please. It was Interplay. Pardon me.
Okay, all right.
I probably got this wrong then. Star Trek 25th Anniversary NES game by Interplay. So I got it wrong. It's not Infocom. Infocom, they suck. Never mind. It's Interplay. It's good.
They went to hell in a handbasket because they made this super difficult Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game.
I'm looking at this game, the 20th anniversary for the NES.
Yep.
It looks cool, but the 25th anniversary game I played for the PC looks totally different.
Huh. I remember the NES one. It had your typical adventure stuff. Pick this up, move that,
Yep.
that sort of stuff. But it also had like spaceship battle stuff too.
It did.
Yeah.
I've played the
Laser
PC game on
shields
my
and-
channel, actually. And if you go onto my YouTube channel, there's a 3-part partial playthrough.
Okay.
The PC game had seven missions, and at the time when it came out in 92, believe it or not, people claimed that this was basically the fourth season of Star Trek. That's how the missions felt. They were that good. And
Yeah.
they made another one, a sequel called Judgment Rights I played too. They're great games.
Yep.
Great point and click adventure games. And again, talk about point and click, King's Quest.
Yep.
So this is what we had in 84, and then Star Trek comes along in 92. In 8 years, the graphics and computers, the progress goes like that.
Yeah.
But Roberta
If-
Williams was
Only the graphics in the game looked anything like the cover.
oh, well, you know the role basically, right?
Yeah.
The cover always sold the game. The game it was always a roll the dice.
Yeah.
I remember playing this game and not finishing it again until much later in life because again, no hints. And death meant death. You had to load and save stuff and all that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But
No auto saving.
But it was crazy because it was so innovative at the time, challenging and fun, and appealed to everybody. Chat, if you played any of those Sierra games like this, let me know. Roberta Williams was the co-creator of this. She mapped out the whole plot and decision tree on paper. That's how she started and coded this sucker. Spawned 8 games in total, basically. Mileage will vary. King's Quest 6 always stuck with me because in King's Quest 6, up until that point, it was possible to basically wreck your game halfway through. There's a puzzle where you will need a pie to throw at a snowman to beat him to pass him. The game will eat the pie. If you eat the pie, you can't pass a snowman. You have to restart from scratch almost.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now games after that point will not let you eat or destroy key quest objects to avoid that frustration. So along these lines of King's Quest, they had King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest, Leisure Suit Larry.
Yep.
Of all of them, I gotta say Police Quest is my favorite series. I know I like Space Quest, but Police Quest is my favorite.
Space Quest was fun because you had Roger Wilco there, the janitor.
Oh, the humor in that was just super tongue in
And
cheek.
they set out to make a parody game. They wanted to make a fun science fiction game. They didn't care how hard it was or how true it was to sci-fi standards. They just wanted to have fun.
Exactly.
And they did. And it was a fun game.
Exactly. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna step away from it here, Greg, and let the dogs out. If you want to
All
ramble
right.
on for a little bit here.
All right.
Let me see here. I'll put you up solo. I'll be right back.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let me just try and figure something out here. Because we can get a little look here at King's Quest. I played this just the other night just to try and get a feel for it again. And it's been a long time. It's kind of frustrating how slow it takes them to walk in there. Oh, now. Why can't I open the door? Because I wasn't lined up perfectly with the door. Now you're in the hallway. And you'd think that there'd be some things you could do down here, like try on the suit of armor. You can't. You can, however, walk all the way into the wall. And then get stuck. And here comes the grand art scene that you saw on the front cover of the game box. Let's go see the king. Oh, to king. Now, the original games all had just the text where you had to read them, but eventually some of the bigger ones would put out a CD-ROM version, and they'd have people record the dialogue, which was nice. If you really didn't want to read the game, you had them presented for you there. There was one, I'm trying to remember what it was called, Gabriel Knight, I think it was, and it was a point-and-click supernatural Sierra one, kind of like Monster Hunters and stuff like that. But the CD-ROM version of that one had, say it was Tim Curry and Mark Hamill do voices for it. Well, we've done one thing. We've scored 1 out of 158 and somehow frozen the game. Somehow destroyed the game. Oh. If we can change this to fast. Well, the keyboard is taking on a life of its own. Oh, please, dear, no. Don't go to slow mode. Wow. This is riveting. Let's try this again. All right. Now we know what not to do. Crash the game. Into the castle. Running down the hallway. I think it was pure luck that I actually found the menu before, so I don't think we're going to try and speed the game up. Look at how precise some of the commands were and things like that. Dock of the king. We've got our point. Go, Sir Graham. Go bring back these treasures. If we hadn't talked to him already, it would have given us an error message that said you're too close to the king and you have to be polite and step away. I wonder if there's anything over here. It turned out the king had the treasure sitting in his castle the whole time. Nope, that's just a wall. It's games like this that really make you appreciate cutscenes, because you could now, in a modern game or any other game, just magically appear outside, already on the way to your quest.
Playing the emulator, I see.
But that's all right.
Playing the emulator, I see.
Yes. Whoops. We've got 1 point.
Push the rock from the top. No, not that way. I'll roll down and kill you. I remember that much. Yes.
Push rock. Oh, there's a dark hole underneath it.
So what do you do with the dark hole?
Oh.
Look in hole.
Apparently we fall into it. No. We're too far from the hole to see in it.
Chat, if you actually want to try what we've experienced back in the 80s, you got to get the simulator out.
Look in hole.
There's a dagger in the hole.
Oh. Take dagger. I don't think they have tetanus shot back then. Now we got a dagger. We got 8 points here.
I don't think I ever got perfect by playing this game either. And I think it was basically one object of a screen, I think. You can't push tree.
Oh, you can't do that. Yeah, it was very basic that they couldn't do too many things in each screen there for you.
And not much sound. Just the basic sound.
Yep.
No idea what to do there. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, you drowned, by the way. You're dead. Oh, you're swimming. Like I said, it's been so long since I played this game. I
did like the first second or two, or a few screens of it last night.
I should. Oh, dive. I don't know. No.
Hmm?
Can you dive?
I'm not going to dive. I'll drown.
No, that's true.
Look at that.
But like I said, this is a good game to play in a group, because then you can actually make decisions about what to do and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like look and log and stuff like that.
Well, let's look at the log. Okay.
Yeah, you got look, get everything. That's the key to these adventure games. Look, get everything.
It's only a rotted log.
Well, look and stump then.
You're old and you're going to be petrified. Take stump. I get the stump. At least not now. The trick to remember about some of these games is that you could go up.
Yes. Like I said, I do not remember.
On the gate. We're in there.
Like I said, and there was no hint books. There was no clues or anything. You were basically, what do you call it? Shoot.
You're spending hours and weeks and months trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know what the heck you do with this goat. Go goat. Oh,
no.
whoa.
Oh, you did kill the goat. Now, I don't think you need the goat.
I did a dagger last night. That's why.
I think you need the goat. I think you had to find a carrot and say the goat.
Oh, son of a.
So I don't remember. So your score went from 8 to 3 now.
Oh. Revive goat.
No, now basically you're stuck basically having to what do you call it? save or restart. That's why you saved every 5 minutes in these games.
You don't
Really,
want
like,
why? Yes, I do want the dagger.
yeah. But we played these games for weeks
Yeah,
and trying to figure this stuff out. You're too far from the gate.
I hadn't hit enter yet. I was waiting to get there.
I actually bought the Space Quest, I think, and the Police Quest from the Steam store to play on my computer here.
Okay. Yep.
I do know one streamer plays them. I've seen her play them actually.
Space Quest would be fun.
Space Quest probably the best one out of them all. This one I probably play as a treat, like King's Quest.
Use well.
Yeah, lower bucket.
Or bucket.
No, wait, get in bucket.
Oh,
That's right, get in bucket. All right. I think you got to get out.
out of bucket.
Yep, plash.
Swim.
Dive.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. There's a hole there on the left, I think. I can't
There is,
remember.
but there's a bottle we might want.
No, you can't. I don't think you can try and get the bottle. I don't know if you can or not, though. The can you can't. Nope. See? Yeah.
Oh, there.
This
If only I had a dagger.
Or there's a mirror there too, I think. You can't kill Dragon. Yeah. Yep, you're dead. There's a mirror there or something. And there's a mirror there or something like you use. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you for playing King's Quest. Very sorry you did not succeed and hope you'll fare better next time. Good luck.
And every so often you would figure out something more to go a little further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some more awesome games here we can go through. But yeah. Bard's Tale, remember this one?
Yep.
This set the bar for dungeon crawls.
That was pretty much the game for your Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
It was.
Yep.
And the funny part was this predates the Dungeons and Dragons SSI Gold Box games. I did not know that. And it was the best-selling RPG of the 80s, sold over 407,000 copies, has sold 1 million copies to date. And like I said, everybody I know played this. Like every geek played this.
Yep.
It was, it's nothing spectacular, but
do you remember when you got to like make your character and name your character and all that stuff?
Heck, exactly.
And people would always name their characters with crazy nicknames or something like that, or fart bucket or something stupid or whatever.
I'd always call my Dort Sneaky Pete.
Someone told me, and this came from the Ghostbusters game, which might have been for C64.
Okay.
That you should name your character whatever they name their character in the manual, in the instruction booklet, because it got you like secret weapons, secret power. It gave you a head start or better statistics or something.
Oh, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
That's actually
because there was one that was like you had to name your character Ooze or something like that. I think in the Ghostbusters game.
Oh, okay.
And it got you something else.
That's actually a good tip.
Yeah, and it kind of made sense when you think about it, because like if these developers made these games, they probably put little cheats and whatever into their own characters that they put in there.
They
would have had test characters that they used, right?
There were Easter eggs all through this, all through these games. I can barely remember them all at this point, believe it or not, which is, oh my gosh, like I wish I could remember them all. But yeah, that was part of the fun too, right?
Yeah.
And then basically your background, Maniac Mansion, 87. This is where Lucasfilm got involved.
This was such a fun game.
Dude, this basically was another milestone in adventure gaming.
But also so frustrating too.
Yeah. It's not linear. There's you can do things in any order.
Well, you did have to do some things in certain orders. You had to pick up like the can opener first, and things like
That's
that, because
true.
you'd need it like 12 rooms down.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point and click is used. So it's
Yep.
gone. This typing is basically, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Cut scenes, animation, a lot of humor. Spawned a TV show that ran 3 seasons and a sequel called Day of the Tentacle, which got
Was that with
remastered.
Joe Flaherty in it?
It was Joe Flaherty in it.
It was Joe
And,
Flaherty.
and basically only shared common it was the name Maniac Mansion, but it didn't matter.
No.
No. This game, everybody's playing this game in the 80s. Everybody's
Because
playing this
in
one.
the game, the mad scientist was the bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in
But
the show, Joe Flaherty was the mad scientist.
Yep. But this game was awesome. And a lot of people, you say Day of the Tentacle, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And they re-released the original as well with upgraded graphics and stuff like that.
I did have it too.
Yep.
I did have I said I actually was playing that on through the Ant stream on stream there 1 month.
Yep.
It's fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yep. You were playing Day of the Tentacle. You were playing the second one.
The remastered sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one I didn't put in here that I enjoy from Lucasfilm was Full Throttle. It takes place kind of in the post-apocalyptic future. You're a biker trying to.
I was going to say it was the biker one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And I almost finished that one on stream too. That one I loved.
All the LucasArts games were a lot of fun. Really.
100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Monkey Island was fantastic. Indiana Jones: Fate of Atlantis was a lot of fun.
Did they do Indiana Jones? Because that's also on Ant stream.
Yep, that was theirs. And Sam and Max was them as well.
Yep.
And Sam and Max was a hilarious, fun.
Here's what we got here.
Game and a fun cartoon, because they made a Saturday morning cartoon out of it.
They did.
And I want to say they also had a comic book for Sam and Max.
I want to see that too, basically. I can't remember. Yeah. 3 Monkey Island games.
Yep.
Grim Fandango, also another good one.
Was that the Day of the Dead sort of one with the skeleton heads?
Yep. The Dig, fantastic game that they're talking about turning into a movie.
Okay. Yep.
Loom, which was I played it and finished it a couple times. It's hard to describe, but it's not your standard adventure game. You had to learn notes to do spells and stuff, basically. And they changed each game. They changed each game. It was very unique.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it had popular appeal, but it was one of the most unique games I remember playing from that perspective. But those, like I said, they had a lot of success with their adventure games.
Yeah.
And games in general. This is one I put in here too. This is from Sierra.
Ooh.
Again, they went with point and click on this one.
Yep.
No text at all, just straight point and click. Some mini games. In this scene, you're trying to put the knife between the guy's fingers without hitting them to get the clue. Basically, an alien invasion is taking over the Earth.
What was that game called?
Knifey.
Oh, okay. Well,
used to do it with the pencil to impress the kids.
Makes sense.
Your aliens taking over New York. You're working for them as a manhunter, and you're uncovering basically a really twisted secret behind it. It wasn't bad. It was short and a bit gruesome. But like I said,
as gruesome as VGA could be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was different though. Like I said. And here's the Gold Box. I thought they were earlier than 88. They came out in 88, actually, when they started coming out.
I thought they were earlier too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, 88. And I thought I could have swore they were earlier because, well, I played them so much.
It makes sense, I guess, though.
I was 16 in 88, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
There was 13 games in total. There was blocks of 3. So the first one was Pool of Radiance, Curse of the Azure Bonds, and something. And in that first game, you could finish the first game at Pool of Radiance and copy your character over to Azure Bonds you wanted to instead of starting over.
Yep.
The Dragonlance was another trilogy they did. Forgotten Realms was another trilogy. Then they did 2 Buck Roger games because when Gaiax lost a TSR to a takeover, the person that took over was a former CFO. Her family owned the Buck Rogers license. So she made start pushing Buck Rogers RPGs and stuff like that. And there's a Spelljammer and a couple other games. I love these games. I actually got them from the Steam store to play them again.
Oh, okay.
And like I said before, while you're offline, I like playing D&D, but I couldn't always find someone to play D&D with. These were a great way to do it. And the Dragonlance games, like I said, that Dragonlance franchise was huge, and to be able to play in that universe with that games was icing on the cake for me. And the copy protection, you got a wheel, you had to line up symbols. That was horrible, actually.
Yeah.
And of my favorite, I like Curse of the Azure Bombs. That was my favorite one of these games, because they weren't just simple hack and slashes. There was a bit of basically, a plot and a story to them. So that was my kind of fave. And then I jumped to Myst as something more modern. Border Bond was doing a lot of kids games at the time, like kids educational games, and this huge leap to Myst. Targeted for adults with complex puzzles and gorgeous graphics. No enemies, no violence, no threat diving, but you needed a real high-end PC to run this sucker. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, well, and PCs were not high-end at the time. This is part of the problem, right?
Like you need it. About the time in '93, a couple $1,000 machine, which was expensive.
Yeah,
to actually do it. But those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. I still play adventure games. I love adventure games.
Yep.
I
would say the closest thing we have nowadays to an adventure game is kind of like the Tomb Raider stuff.
Oh, sorry, the wrong way here.
Yep.
Yeah, really. Now, Telltale is a company.
There's a lot more action to them.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but
Telltale is a company that's basically made games that are basically choose your own adventure.
Yep.
Do you do A or B kind of thing?
Hemi Kicks plays some Batman ones. They did some Walking Dead ones.
Yep. Hemi Kicks played some of those choose your own adventure games, those horror games. I like them. They're absolutely great.
Yeah.
But for a really good game like we're talking like Myst or King's Quest.
Yep.
I guess you could call Cyberpunk 2033 that type of game.
Yeah.
Again, there's some issues around that game being launched because of the failure of its launch for certain reasons. There is a game coming out. Well, have you ever played Fallout?
Yep.
Fallout is kind of like that RPG-ish type game, I guess you'd call it, but there's still a lot of combat in those games. I'm looking for a game that doesn't have a combat focus. It's just basically puzzle solving, right?
I wonder if your Arcade Spirit is going to turn into that sort of thing.
I wouldn't mind seeing more of those.
Yeah.
But this is basically go through, make decisions while basically on how your outcome is of the dating sim.
Yep.
Like I said, Myst and those guys, that was the last kind of great, visual puzzler, I think. There was, I'm gonna laugh at me, a mobile game called The Room, a series of them. You start in a room, you had to get out of a series of rooms by figuring out clues and puzzles, like an adventure game kind of thing. But if you ask me right now, I'd be hard pressed to pick a point and click puzzle solving adventure game made today that's kind of mainstream. I can't really think of one.
No.
Now, speaking of Fallout,
I would 100% go back and play Maniac Mansion again.
I was having fun playing the Tentacle. I could play. Yeah. I'm playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because that 8-bit music and all that, and the characters, it was well written too.
The MIDI music there.
Yep. Yeah. These games in the 80s and 90s, these adventure games were well written. They weren't just kind of like, okay, go get the MacGuffin. They were well written games.
They really were, like you say, unofficial sequels.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, like you said, the Star Trek one there was considered a fourth season.
Oh my God, the same with Judgment Rights.
Fifth season, because the anime series was more of a fourth season, but
precisely. Well, I was going to say too. Well, today we're kind of spoiled, right? We're getting these Star Trek and Star Wars properties left and right. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Back then, a couple Indiana Jones movies, couple Star Wars movies, and any kind of side game property or book, we ate up because we were starving for any more content.
Yeah.
All right, Babs. Much appreciated. We'll have it up on YouTube later. Sleep well, mon ami. Bon chance and au revoir. Any final thoughts on adventure games or Switz?
I think that they should make more. I think that it would be a hoot. And I think that perhaps the mobile market is the way to go now.
I think so.
For those games.
I think so. I'm wondering too. I'm going to put this out as a bold statement. Is today's audience have the attention span for one of these complicated games?
That's why maybe a mobile game works better, because
I think so.
the potentially shorter attention span.
Well, I remember, right? I'd sit there at King's Quest and pounding commands for hours trying to figure out stuff.
Yeah, yep.
No one's
But
going to
we
do that
had nothing
nowadays.
else to do back then.
And it was my thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
My other thought too is I love playing the Fallout games. I do, and I enjoy the puzzle and story aspect over the combat aspect, so I'll take it. They are coming out with a sci-fi version, something like Starfield or something like that. They're coming out with.
Okay.
I will be playing it. There's no question.
I enjoy just the straight puzzle games.
Me too.
And not necessarily ones where you have to collect up the pieces to solve the puzzle.
No.
But like pick the locks and that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
There was a game. I can't remember what it was, where you had to pick locks and there was like a timer on it, like a fuse.
Okay. Don't know that one.
And if you didn't, you had like a lockpick device or whatever. I want to say it was Hillsfar that we were talking about the other night.
Okay. Here's one totally random super thought. There was a game called Betrayal at Condor.
It was
it?
Okay. Sorry, I'm just got one
Go
thing
for
I'll show you here. It was Hillsfar. And you had to you had to choose like the right picks for your locks and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Unlock a chest or whatever. And the fuse timer at the top left there would go, and if you didn't beat it, you would it would blow up in your face.
Okay.
And that was a really fun aspect of that game.
Your idea of that lockpicking spot got me thinking of a adventure game called Betrayal at Condor, based upon the Rift World novels. And it's basically adventure, defeat, look for the big bad guy and do puzzles. But in that game, lockpicking, the chest had either a 3, 4, or 5-letter word, and you had to figure out what it was from the clue, basically.
Oh, okay. That'd be kind of fun.
It was kind of fun because some of them were really hard. Some of them were kind of obvious.
Throw a Wordle or a Jumble sort of aspect into the lockpicking.
Pretty much, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all my thoughts on the adventure games. Like I said, I love playing them. Chat, if you got any, let us know. Throw it up in Switch's chat there, or let us know on Twitter.
Yeah. What do we want to talk about next? You want to talk about hockey quick?
It's about hockey quick.
Yeah. As we know, we're in the midst of the NHL playoffs. The first round is started.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm not a huge hockey. I know you're more of a dedicated Leaf fan. Yep. I'll watch Panthers out of the corner of my eye and get in there for the playoffs and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm glad they got the wild card spot. It was basically a last minute thing. Like the last 2 games, they basically got in. And so far from what I've heard, it's been an interesting playoffs.
Yeah.
As I mentioned,
Boston and Florida are tied at 1 each.
Boston beat them the first game. Florida came back and dominated the second game. So that's going to be a good series, I think.
Toronto might be tied.
Toronto got booed off the ice the first game.
Yeah. They won 7-2 tonight. Okay.
That's wild. They lost 7-3 the other night.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So if you think about it, they're up 1 on goal differential. Go Leafs, go.
So who's your pick between Boston and Florida?
Sadly, I got to say Boston. I really would like Florida to win because I don't think many teams have a chance of beating Boston. They're really.
I was going to say that if Florida gets by Boston, they're going all the way.
No, I could see them being the giant killers who go 1 and out.
You think so?
I could see them getting beaten in the second round.
I'll tell you what. I'd rather play the Leafs and not Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay can beat the Panthers.
Yeah, well, so can Toronto.
Nah, consistent.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna take Leafs in that one, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah,
I have to.
Islanders and Carolina. I have no skin in the game. No idea.
No, I don't care either way, but I think it's gonna be Carolina.
Carolina had a late strong run of the season.
Yep.
So I think Carolina. I would pick Carolina to go all the way to the final.
Yep. Yep.
They shouldn't.
Jersey and the
They
Rangers.
will.
I believe the Rangers are up 2-0 in the series.
I want to see the Rangers go through because Hemi Cakes is a Ranger fan.
So I think the Rangers can do it. Yep.
Yeah. I hate to say I think New Jersey and New York is a good series because of the fan rivalry.
Yep.
But I think it's the weakest series on the right hand side here.
Yeah.
Next to Islanders shouldn't be there, but
Yeah.
that's my thoughts.
On the other side of the world,
the Knights are surprising. I thought Winnipeg would bow a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But they're giving the Knights all they can. I'm missing what the series is at, basically.
It's game 2 is tonight.
Okay. Who took the first one? The Knights?
Hang on a second. I think right now, Winnipeg won the first game, and they are up 1-0 in the first period right now.
Okay. That's not surprising. Once Vegas got rid of their Gerardus coach, that's when it was being the end of them. I don't care. They're number one in their division.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything because, like I said, I'll rant on this all the time. All the time. There are regular season teams and playoff teams. Vegas is not a playoff team.
Yep.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg could sneak through. Yep.
I think so. I want to see Winnipeg. I'm going to go with Winnipeg on that one.
Yep. Oilers and Kings.
Well, everybody thought it'd be the second coming of Connor. He'd lead them all the way to the cup and all that.
Yep.
LA got humiliated. I mean, LA humiliated the Oilers the first game.
Yeah. Yep. I think the Oilers can pull it out though.
Yeah, no question. LA has never had a strong hockey team. Never. I'm gonna go Edmonton and Winnipeg for those top two.
Yep.
Kraken.
Colorado and the Kraken. The
Kraken's making
Seattle Kraken are not the expansion Golden Knights.
Yeah, the expansion Golden Knights. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
What's that
it's
series
shocking
at?
they made it there that fast.
Yes.
I don't think they have much of a chance against Colorado.
Colorado is one of those quiet teams. It's a seasoned veteran team.
Yep.
You know, they're not exciting to watch play, but they get the job done and they can play hockey.
Yep.
I'm gonna, as much as I think Seattle is. I put it this way. I don't know much about Seattle. I haven't heard Seattle make a splash.
Yeah.
Vegas, I couldn't hear enough of in that. I couldn't hear enough of them in that first season. It was Vegas. Seattle, nothing.
Yep.
I'm going Colorado.
Yeah, I think you have to. And Dallas and Minnesota. I like Minnesota, so I'm going to go Minnesota.
I like Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas.
Okay. It's tied 1-1.
Okay.
After that thunderous hit on Pavelski there in the first game.
I know.
That kind of woke up Dallas a bit. But,
Dallas is like Colorado. They've always had hot and cold teams.
Yep.
But they've been basically a strong, silent team. Speaking of injuries, didn't the guy get his neck slashed open the other night?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Type 75 stitches. Yeah, Jets Baron returns the game with more than 75 stitches after taking a skate to the head.
Oh, wow. Yeah. From the Jets. Wow.
Got 75 stitches, goes back into the game.
Yep.
Jeez. Somebody get the injury. Gate 1. Cut in the forehead by a skate. Returned to the period of the full cage. Oh my God. Left the game early in the first period and returned midway through the second period of the full cage at 75 stitches.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's.
Yeah.
And the Jets won 5-1. The Jets basically destroyed them. Good Lord. It's like when Panthers years ago, was it Ben Gustafsson took a puck to the face, broke his nose, went back, got taped up, came back out and played.
Wow. How many guys, who was it played a couple years ago on a broken leg?
Oh, crap. Yes. I remember that too.
Yep.
Predictions for a Stanley Cup final.
You know what will be a wild finish?
What
would be Toronto, Edmonton.
I've got Edmonton left-hand side. I'm thinking, I hate to say it, I think it'd be Edmonton, Carolina.
I think Edmonton, Boston, logically. From my heart, I'd like to be Edmonton, Toronto. And if only for the fact that we'd only have to listen to one anthem.
I like to be Seattle and the Panthers, so I'd win the cup, but that's not going to happen.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's. I have no question in my mind that'd be Edmonton on the left-hand side, unless Edmonton and Winnipeg surprises Edmonton, which they could. They really could. Those are two teams I have in my final, and on the right-hand side, it's Boston, Carolina. There's no question. I think that's what I'm thinking in my heart.
So we also had tonight the final episode of Star Trek Picard season 3.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it. I'm like 10 minutes from finishing it.
I haven't seen the final episode.
Oh, I've 10 minutes, haven't finished it. I have a Ko-fi page now, a coffee page basically. It's like a blog.
Yep.
And I put on my horror stuff and my stuff on general thoughts. I wrote basically a blog explaining why I hate it Picard.
You saw last week's episode.
I did, and that's what really set me off.
Yeah, I saw that I saw on Twitter that you did not like last week's episode.
Yeah, I wrote an article on it,
and I have not read your article. I really liked it because I just love the ships.
Well, I'm more of a businessman. That's just my problem. So I know why you liked it. I know why a lot of people liked it, and I have no problem with that.
It was a beautiful bit of nostalgia, a beautiful bit of the proper send off that they should have gotten because what was the last movie? Nemesis. Wasn't very good. No, it was the last Next Generation movie at least.
Yes,
and it wasn't the farewell that this cast and crew deserved. So I'm glad that they're giving them something a lot better and a little more nostalgic here.
Yeah, well, that was my problem. My problem
you don't like
is
nostalgia.
that,
I forgot. Yeah.
No, I like nostalgia. My problem is that CBS basically destroyed any hopes of more franchise spinoffs by basically sacrificing all the plot lines in the last 3 seasons to have Next Generation.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem. Like, if they were just going to start from the start and have this family come together and be the Next Generation season 8, no problem.
Yep.
So season 1 was a bit of a muddled mess, and I see where they're going. So, like, okay.
Season 1 for me was not very good because the characters were not themselves.
Yes.
Picard was not Picard in it, even though he was older. This version of Picard, where you see him sitting at the bar telling stories to the cadets and stuff like that's the real Picard, I think.
See, season 1 grew on me. There's some thoughts I thought was just dumb altogether, but the new characters grew on me. I was looking forward to seeing Raffi and Rios's arcs. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get a spinoff and all this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
The whole android nonsense aside, okay, you screwed that one up. Give me season 2, right? And of course, the whole Romulan treachery conspiracy, that's gone now.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was season 1. Season 2. You know what I said about season 2?
I didn't watch it, so.
Oh. Do you want me to tell what season 2 is about, or no? You don't really
care. I know what it's about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I said I should just watch The Voyage Home. It was The Voyage Home. Voyage Home, All Good Things mixed together.
Yep.
And along the way, they start sacrificing plot points and characters to kind of bring up the old characters. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? This isn't okay.
Yeah.
When it ended, okay, you know what? That was very stupid what you guys done. I know you're pulling at the strings, but it's the wrong strings.
Yep.
What do you do for season 3? We're gonna take those plot and characters and put on the back corner and give you the old crew.
Yep.
So you know what? That's your choice. That's what makes me angry. Basically, is Paramount, CBS have been complaining and angry at the reaction people have been giving to these series and not caring about enough to care about the new material.
Yep.
When you sacrifice stuff that people are interested in to give one final farewell, this is what's going to happen. That's what my whole thing was about, basically. Paramount has frozen all development of new Star Trek series.
Okay.
We're getting Strange World season 2.
Yep.
Discovery's canceled.
Yep.
Picard's canceled.
Yep.
Obviously. What else is on? And there's some other ones are developing. They're all canceled at this point, or they're all on hold. Star Trek Legacy.
No.
Because the studio's been losing money, hand over fist in these shows.
Yep.
for various reasons not looking. And my running joke is the best Star Trek show out right now is the Orville season 3.
Yep.
And Lower Decks. Lower Decks, I was a little like, what is this? And after like the first 4 episodes, I was hooked because it was funny. And they respect the passes out kind of throwing it in your face.
Yep.
So for what it is, Star Trek Picard season 3 is a great Star Trek Generation season 8. Fantastic.
Yep. And that's what I wanted.
Yep.
That's what I thought Picard season 1 was supposed to be.
That's the problem. It had an identity crisis.
How they sold it to me with the preamble and with some of the trailers and with just the general thought of the whole show. This is going to be Next Generation season 8. This is going to be awesome. They're older. They're doing whatever. It's going to be cool. Wait a minute. This is nothing like that.
100%. And that's what kind of irked me about it. It had an identity crisis. What do you want out of the show? Do you want it to be Next Generation, the last hurrah? Or did you want to see what they're doing now kind of thing, right?
The question kind of becomes, what is Star Trek? Is Star Trek the Federation and Starfleet, or is it just random people out in ships doing space stuff in the Star Trek universe?
It's a wagon train to the stars.
Season 1 was just random people doing random stuff out in the Star Trek universe with Picard and all that there, but they weren't on a Federation ship. They didn't have any of that stuff until like the very, very end, and it was very poorly animated and thrown in there, I thought. It just kind of like, hey, here's this armada to save the day. Remember, we're Starfleet and Star Trek. And now we're gone.
100%.
And that's why season 1 to me was not Star Trek. This one here, season 3, there's a lot of Star Trek in it because I think Star Trek is Federation and Starfleet. And you've got some throwbacks to the Dominion War and stuff like that. You've got some conspiracy theories going on within Starfleet. You've got Federation planets and rules and all that sort of stuff going on. And you've got starships. I love the starships. I at times don't care who's on them, but I love seeing the ships and I love seeing starships. Not what's his name's ship there in season 1.
Oh, Rios,
not that, because that's not a starship. That's a ship.
You want the bigger ships.
I want to boldly go. I want the exploration. I want the phasers on maximum. I want photon torpedoes. I want shields up. I want red alert. I want the warp core. I want those ships.
Where I don't.
Where something is going to happen, and they can go in and save the day with them.
No, that's not what I want from a Star Trek. Yeah. My Star Trek is Roddenberry's vision. It's about exploration and learning and stuff like that. It's not about violence or war. That's why
I don't necessarily need the violence and war and all that stuff, but I like those ships that were sent out to do that. And they prepared them for both.
Well, like I said, the Deep Space Nine, the last couple seasons were all about the war, which was stupid to me. Star Trek to me,
that was where that series got good, because it was interesting and a continuous storyline.
I'll tell you my thoughts on that. Star Trek to me is about basically family and crew. You can't have a Star Trek and have one person in it. That's not Star Trek.
No.
It's about crew and their interactions with themselves and the world around them, whether it be on a ship or a station. And it's about exploration and the unknown. That's what's, about it. That's why I think where Picard failed for me, because it was just Picard.
Yep.
By himself with some characters who weren't very strong in the first season. I felt the supporting characters were not that strong.
Well, what's her name there? Alison Pill. Like, why did they even keep her around? Like, they saw her kill the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, throw her in an airlock and get her out.
Exactly. Like I said, they started with this. So I'm a movie snob and a kind of a writing snob, right? So Picard 1 painted this picture of the future, the way the Federation is, the way as the Romulans are, and here's the world it is. Okay, fantastic. And here's how we're going to do it. And like you said, all of a sudden at the end, Massive Fleet shows up. The end, like, come on, And that whole season 1 has gone like that, right? And then 2 was like I said, it was a combination of The Voyage Home and All Good Things with different people, which I'd rather watch the actual original.
Yeah.
And then 3 basically was like, okay, let's just do Duration season 8. But like I said, though, Paramount's paused all Star Trek development except for the new Strange New Worlds. I'll be curious to see where they go. You know what I heard one time?
Season 2 really makes me wish that Johnny Delancey was coming to Niagara Falls Comic Con this year, because I really would like to have his thoughts on that.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. You know what? I watched season 2 just out of habit. Delancey was one of the shining points.
As he was in every episode he touched.
He did not miss a beat of his character.
Yep.
He got what he was what he was supposed to do, and he got the plot story around him. It was the others that were really, really struggling, in my opinion. Stewart can do it no wrong, but there's others that were obviously struggling.
Yeah.
But speaking of other stuff, Strange New Worlds. Have you watched season 1?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay.
And I've enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too. It reminds me a lot of the old series, maybe a little goofy at times. I guess that's why I like it, right? Because it takes us back to the nature. And some of the characters they portray, like Nurse Chapel, I think are absolutely awesome.
Yep.
And Anson Mount, what I like about that show is that Anson Mount is Pike, but he's not like it's Captain Pike's show and everybody else is just here for the ride. Yep. He really steps back and just lets everybody else do their thing, which I think is great, basically.
Yep. Yeah. Which is one thing they didn't really do in the original series, right? I mean, it was the Holy Trinity. It was the Kirk, Spock, McCoy show.
It was. That's why I think
they did have a lot of other great supporting characters, and they did shine, but not as brightly as they could have.
No,
not as brightly as if you look at Next Generation, how they fleshed out all the characters in the crew.
You take eight or nine primary cast members and some secondary members over 7 seasons. Yep. Yeah, that makes a huge difference, and you can see the attitude of them outside of the show. They're still best friends.
Yeah. They did have more time as well with it, I guess, too, than the original series crew.
Yeah. And truth be told, Tree will watch Next Generation with me. She likes we watched it in university.
Yep.
The other shows, missed the mark. Discovery, I could do a whole rant on Discovery of why I didn't like it.
Did we watch the final episode at your place?
I think you might have, actually.
I think we did.
Yeah. But Strange New Worlds was nice, and I'm enjoying that one.
On Merritt, wasn't it?
What's that?
That was that little apartment on Merritt there.
It was, actually. Yeah, we watched it there.
Computer store or whatever it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a storefront we lived in.
Was it a computer store in front or
beside it? Yeah.
Yeah.
They owned it and rented it, so yeah, we watched it there.
Yep.
But Strange New Worlds is my pick for the best Trek property right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll see what they do in season 2.
Yep.
I'm curious. And all kidding aside, though, let's talk about the Orville quickly. I hate Seth MacFarlane.
Yep.
I think his humor is one-toned and dumb. Pardon me, scratch that. I do not like Seth MacFarlane's show's humor. Seth MacFarlane himself, basically, I think he's an incredibly smart guy who writes well and basically has fallen into the trap of producing some stuff because people want to see Family Guy and all that. So that nonsense never appealed to me.
He's kind of got stuck with his lowest common denominator humor.
Seth MacFarlane will wipe the tears, the $100 bills for that comment. Thanks, Heavy Cakes. I'll leave that up there. But like I said, though, his Family Guy and American Dad kind of just like I never found it. Like I love when South Park made fun of how they make the hey, remember that time you did Person X with Activity Y and Place Z, and they did a cut scene?
The Manatee episode, yes.
Yeah. So for that reason, I avoided watching the Orville. I thought it was gonna be more of the Family Guy.
Yeah.
And then I got Disney Plus. I got bored and I started watching it.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, the first season started kind of off as a Family Guy, and then something changed about 3/4 of the way through. Like I said, I'd love to get him down for a beer privately and say
kind of Galaxy Quest-ish.
It is.
Yep.
But by season 2, gone were basically those, those part of my language out there, the dick jokes
Yeah.
and this element of stuff we like from Star Trek, the humanity and the conflict and the social commentary was shining through. I'm like, wait a minute now. And now Shree watches it with me.
Yeah. How
And
did he do that?
I'm like, yeah. I like
Because
I want to sit down
if you
and
look
set
at
my
his other
phone.
shows, you think this guy's an idiot with his humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you watch the season 2.
and he's the sort of guy who'll wipe away his tears with $100 bills.
Yeah, and like he doesn't have to care this much, right? I want to sit down with him and say, so what made you change your creative direction for the show? Because something's happened for
Yeah.
the better. And by season 3, the humor is still there to just enough to keep people like, there.
How much is he still writing Family Guy and American Dad and stuff like that? Is American Dad even still on the air?
I have to go look it up and see.
Yeah.
But the
I'm
fact
not
that
going to look that up because I don't want that to influence my targeted ads and search history.
But by the time season 3 rolled around, these characters that you've developed are fleshed out. They've got heart. There's and it feels like basically classic Trek, like season 2,
Yep.
like at the high points. And season 3 of the Orville, called New Frontiers, there's some powerful episodes there. Yeah, he did Hemi Cakes. I tell you what, I got hooked on it, and then Shree got hooked on it, and season 3 just blew me away because gone was the potty humor almost. It's still there in bits and pieces. There's still some really good guest stars and all that make you crack and smile all that. But season 3 was incredible social commentary. Like, wow. And the performances, like, I thought this was this is just basically cable, throw it away. These people are really giving it.
It almost feels like a vanity project for him, but you can tell that it's one that he really appreciates and likes.
I gotta agree with that 100%. It's almost like, people like when I write this way, and I like when I write this way.
It's almost like I've got the money from Family Guy and all this stuff. Now they're giving me free reign to do what I want to do, and I'm going to give them something that they do not expect.
See, Hemi Cakes, it really is
good.
Yeah.
Maybe the first season was a little more potty humor to ensure there was a season 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
Because you know that his fans are going to look for that style of humor.
Yeah.
And you can't deviate too far from what they expect.
No, and I'm going to give it a go. And
Yeah.
like I said, I would kind of put it off, but when I started watching it, I was hooked by about halfway through the first season. And like Next Generation, season 3 is when they hit their stride. Really, they got it good. Season 1 was kind of like cooking as viewers, but by 2 is like okay, and by 3, wow. Hey,
Hello,
Pam.
Pam. How are we doing?
Thank you for the raid there, Pam. Much appreciated. I saw you raid us on Twitter.
Hey,
We're just talking about finish up talking about Picard and Star Trek stuff, dude. And I'm just going on about how I like the Orville.
But since our
yes,
friends are here,
we'll switch back basically.
Who have we got here, folks?
We've got Pam.
No, I mean, who have we got for the playoffs?
Pam. On the left bracket. Who's your pick? Who's your pick on the left-hand side? Hemi Cakes, American Dad is still in production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We broke down our thoughts here basically.
We basically agreed that the Oilers are going to make it all the way in the West.
Oilers going all the way. I got Winnipeg Oilers, Colorado, and Dallas. Jet Stars. Ooh. Whoa. You know what? I could get behind that.
I could see a toss-up between Edmonton or Winnipeg.
Yep. That's what I'm going to see. I say that on that left-hand side.
I think Edmonton's got a little more strength, though. You've got the unbeatable McDavid, and if you keep Campbell on the bench, you've got a little bit better goaltending. I kid because he was our goalie last year.
Wow. Right-hand side, Boston, Carolina. Boston wins the cup. I had Carolina, Boston the final with Carolina facing Edmonton. That was my pick on the right-hand side.
I have Toronto and Carolina, and then Toronto meeting Edmonton in every Canadian's hockey wet dream.
That'd be mega bucks for the TV deal.
No, it would be terrible for the TV deal.
Oh, that's right, because it's not American.
They would lose a lot of the American audience, I think.
There's not a lot of Canadian, like there's only like our Canadian population watches hockey is not much. Kings will win this series with Oilers, make it hard for Winnipeg. You know what? I wouldn't bet against that. I would not bet against that. That series, the Oiler King series, is too unpredictable. And Copley is playing well. I would not take that bet because I can't predict, but I'm biased. See, I would have put if you would ask me before they started playing, I would have took the Knights over Winnipeg, but now it's Winnipeg all the way. I no question. But Oilers in LA, I can't pick.
Yeah. That game right now is 1-0 in the end of the first for Winnipeg.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Considering Winnipeg got the wild card spot, but like I said, you missed it, Pam. I said that Vegas is only a regular season team. They're not a playoff team. Winnipeg is a playoff team.
Not without Fleury and Grant.
No. And like the bottom four, they're just noise. Like Colorado will smoke Seattle, Dallas, Minnesota. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Winnipeg is going to shock some people, that's for sure. I agree 100%. They're going to sit up and make people take notice. If the Leafs get out of the first round, there'll be no living with Leaf fans, that's for sure.
Hey, Pam, don't forget our Leafs, you and me, our Leafs won 7-2 tonight. So because we lost the first game 7-3, we won this one 7-2. We're up one by goal differential.
Oh my God.
Start the parade.
Oh my God, Leaf fans, I know. Oh my God. My Panthers.
Parade.
I'm a Panther fan, so no nonsense. So I'm a Panther fan, so I'm hoping they get beat by Boston. If they get by Boston, they're going all the way. There's no question.
They're not going all the way. They're going to get beat by Toronto in the second round. If they
Toronto won't be the second round,
but Toronto will thank them graciously. I mean, that's why we gave you guys Paul Maurice.
I'm going to bring you basically a Leaf crying towel. Since '67, whatever.
Don't worry, I cry myself to sleep every night anyway.
Yeah. Now the bottom four with Carolina and the Islanders and New Jersey and the Rangers. I haven't watched that one too much. I'm assuming I went with Carolina only because they had a good streak near the end of the season. That's why I picked Carolina on that side. And Florida second round. I don't want to because the Tampa Bay will smoke Florida. I know they can smoke Florida,
series, so to speak.
They had to play it before 7, so everybody can watch it before the wheel comes on.
I don't think that the Islanders have a chance really against Carolina.
I don't think so.
But it would be kind of cool to see a Rangers Islanders second round.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. Have a Subway Series there. Would be nice. Kind of like a Yankees Mets series, right? But I don't think it'll happen. Not this year.
No. And like I said, I want to see Rangers over the
too strong. Those bunch of jerks.
Subway battle for sure would be great. Yeah. And Rangers in Jersey, I don't follow them too closely. I like to see Rangers over Jersey just because
Rangers have come on. And I mean, they made some good moves. They picked up Kane. They picked up Panarin. They picked up Tarasenko, right?
I think they did, yeah.
Pretty sure because
so you know what? We'll still have playoff hockey when I come down to see you. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'll be there in June. We'll still be watching playoff hockey.
Yeah.
It'll probably be about third round by then, I think. I hope, anyways.
Oh yeah. Could be the final. I mean, who knows?
Well, who knows exactly? But yeah, like I said, now can the Canes stay healthy is the question. I don't think so.
Depends. Their goaltending is still a bit of a question too, because who do they go with? They've been rotating all year long, it seems.
Okay. I thought the Rangers had an old team, but they don't. They're only 26 is their
no,
average
Rangers
age.
have improved. The Rangers are Jacob's team. He loves them. My oldest kid.
Henry Cakes is a Ranger fan.
Yep.
Top 6 forwards is missing 3. Wow. Yeah, we'll see though. I don't know if, like I said, I want to see Florida get by Boston, but whatever team goes down 2 games, that's when the Rebel hit the road, I think.
Yeah.
Florida can't come back from 2 games down.
Yeah.
Boston might just go back and, like I said, and I don't know. We'll see. I don't feel sorry for a team with injuries. Hey, the Winnipeg guy got his forehead cut open and came back and finished the game with a face mask. Tell me we don't breed him tough up here in Canada.
75 stitches, eh?
No, I know.
It's not the Clint Malarchuk, though.
I know.
That was crazy.
Toughest sport period. Yeah.
I showed a video of the Pavelski hit there from Dumba.
Oh my God.
Monday night there to a Twitter friend of mine down there who lives in San Diego, and he was like, "Holy shit! Those hockey players don't play games, do they?" Well, that's part of the game, actually. Yeah.
Was a little late. Hey, hey, Pem. Oh shoot.
Hey, Pem, how'd your games go tonight? Did you play games tonight?
Yeah. Shoot, I was going to ask. Yes.
Yes.
End of story. I drew a blank. I was going to ask Pem too about something hockey wise. Isn't that dumb? I just have a freaking brain fart.
When's the draft lottery? Anyone know?
Oh, good question. Bottom for Bedard.
It's got to be after the first round or whatever, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh. And then May 5th is the draft, basically. I don't know if the drafts. I used to think that one player could make a team, but you look at basically Connor McDavid kind of leading the others a bit. Well, maybe it can, eh? And then shit. It's okay, Pam. We love you. We still love you. I was gonna ask him something. I can't remember something about hockey.
Bedard will be a game changer for whoever he's on, but they've got to have a good team around him.
Yeah,
they can't just draft one guy.
The Oilers have a good team around Connor McDavid. There's no question, right?
Yeah.
Now,
but how many times did the Oilers have the first overall pick and pick the same guy every time?
Don't ask that question, man.
And it failed.
It was hard to watch that. Hard to be an Oilers fan. Some years I had the first round pick and just watch them just fail horribly.
Yeah.
But even the Panthers, I think the Panthers are starting to basically go back to their.
Anaheim will be interesting because they've just gotten rid of Eakins. And they're in full rebuild, but there is some potential out there. Some, not much, but
the other thing too, though, is okay. Here's a question. Okay,
here's a little bit of trivia for you. Here's a little side note. I danced with Eakins' sister at my stepsister's wedding.
All right. Well, you got me beat. I didn't dance with anyone's sister.
There you go. Because his sister was a friend of my stepsister, and she was very nice, actually. Yeah. Yep. That was 25 years ago.
That was it, basically. Yeah. So if a team drafts Bedard, look at the bottom 4 teams just out of just basically out of theoretical. Would any of those 4 teams spend a significant amount of money to put a team around that player?
Yeah.
Would Blue Jackets spend a lot of money to put a team around Bedard to make a run for it? Could they? Actually, who were the bottom 4 for this year?
Who do Columbus have left that they haven't traded away this year?
Well, yeah. Anaheim and CBJ would. CBJ have a lot of young talent.
You could do well with just a very young team around them that would kind of like match the speed and skill, hopefully. Maybe definitely the speed, but maybe not the skill.
That's true.
At least not to his level.
No. Bottom 4: San Jose, Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim. San Jose, I'd say, you know what? I said yes. Yes to all of them. San Jose would have spent money to build a team around Bedard. Chicago just got rid of Toews. He's gone.
Yeah.
They parted ways. Now they got room in the cap.
And fandom is, I hope he doesn't go to Chicago because fandom is pissed off at Chicago.
Yeah.
From the whole sex cover-ups and all that stuff from years ago there.
I think,
and the fact that Taves was the captain when it all happened, and
Yep.
should have known and should have said something and done something about it if he knew about it. He says he didn't. Who do you really believe? I don't know.
If I want to see him go to Columbus or Anaheim. That's where I think he would be best for himself and the league.
Yep.
Chicago, yeah. San Jose, no. They have some cap, yeah.
Well, because they take a whole bunch of Kane's contract.
They did. Oh my God, they ever. San Jose have Carlson, don't they? They Larry Carlson from the Sens. He caught fire a bit, but I think
he did
Columbus
well towards the end of the season, I think, and had a pretty solid season to begin with.
Yeah. No, I think Anaheim Columbus are the best place for Bedard to be built around and invest. You think no, they won't trade him away. No. So I'll be interested to see what happens.
I'd like him to go to a good hockey city, like a good city that the fans support the game. Unfortunately, that would probably be Chicago, just because of legacy and age of the team and all that stuff.
That's Chicago.
Because if you look at like San Jose and Anaheim, what's their attendance like?
You can't give away tickets in Anaheim for any sporting event.
Well, they've also been terrible this year.
Yeah, but even still, no one cares about the team in Anaheim. You give stuff away for the ball team, the hockey team, whatever.
Yeah.
But if he goes to Columbus, he could spark interest in hockey there.
Yeah.
There is a good fan base there.
Yeah. I mean, Columbus was when they were doing well, they were selling tickets, right?
Here is something crazy. Montreal is the 5th worst team in this league this year.
Yeah.
Imagine who ends up in Montreal.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
But Montreal is a hockey. But you know what?
Although St. Louis could coach him well.
He could, but the problem is Montreal has never been friendly to Anglophone players.
True. Yeah.
No matter how good you are.
Yep.
So we'll have to see. We'll be watching May 5th quite carefully, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoping for Pam, basically. Let me see. We talked about Star Trek. We talked about Con, Point and Click. Start league cover-ups now when Montreal wins the lottery. Yeah. I'm surprised
Actually, you know who's going to win it? Phoenix.
Oh my God!
Because the fix is in, and Gary loves Phoenix. Stick
Phoenix,
Bedard in front of 5,000 fans, and he'll shine.
Phoenix has had more chances and more lives than the Cat. That team should have been gone long ago.
Yeah.
Is the team still owned by the league? Let me look that up quickly while I talk about that.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not still owned by the league. I think the league is still dumping some money at them to kind of keep them afloat, but they don't own them anymore. And the league is doing absolutely everything they can do to, maybe not the league, but Gary is doing absolutely everything he can do to promote hockey in the desert.
Yeah. So pardon me, they actually controlled the NHL took over the franchise from 2009 to 2013.
Okay, the league stopped the money down. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe because they can afford the rent in the arena now.
Yeah. But still, though, that team's had so many freaking chances. It should have been gone. But you're right, though. Bettman does love Arizona. I don't know why.
I don't, because he doesn't want to be proven wrong. He doesn't want to have anyone look at him and say, "We told you so." He doesn't want to be wrong. The only way he would move the team is if they could go to Houston. I think Houston is the only other area that he wants to move, to move a team to.
It's not. Yeah, Vegas will be the NHL Mecca. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I thought putting a team in Vegas was the dumbest idea in the world. Only because every time even the minor league sports teams sucked.
Well, not so. The Las Vegas Area 51s, Area 51, Area 52. Where are the aliens? Is it Area 51?
Area 51.
Okay, yeah. So it's the Las Vegas Area 51. Were the farm team for the Blue Jays for a number of years, and they did some decent numbers out there for fans and all that. I also didn't think though that a hockey team would well in this, because that everyone would be too busy and too wrapped up in the gambling, the shows, and whatever else to go see that. But they really put forward a strong fan base. Love them or hate them, they've done a good job with the team there, with from a fan standpoint. Most of the other fans in the league hate them because they don't like anyone who does. We don't like people who do well or do better than us in their first year. We're jealous. That's just the way we are. But they have done a good job with the fans, I think, down there, and building the base, and they're proving that they can support a team. And it's not just tourists, it seems, which is good. But it's nice to have that option for the tourists to go down there and, hey, let's catch a game while we're down here.
Well, the other thing too is
seems like they're selling out all the time.
They are, and Vegas has had a terrible run with minor league teams.
Their football has not done well. I know that.
Football, baseball, hockey has never done well, minor league at all. So then bringing it in like that was not the best.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I would go to Vegas again, and I would love to catch a game down there.
Speaking of that, they used to have the big Star Trek experience in Vegas. I'm very mad they closed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you used to have the Star Trek hotel, didn't they?
Oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah,
my buddy,
it's gone, right?
It is gone. The CBS not renewed the license with the hotel. It was there for a long time. I had friends that went there on a business conference. They did both the attractions, which was amazing. What was even more amazing was going to the bar. The people in character got in character. The Ferengi would friggin' drinking down the bar and friggin' dance and do all sorts of weird, crazy nuts. It was insane.
If it didn't have swishy doors, then that's why they closed down.
Oh, here, got a question about the Orville here. That's a good question, actually. I'll tell you what. It looks like Trek as a parody because it's got like, a Federation, and it's got like the starships and the exploration, all that kind of stuff. It's got that hanging around it, but McFarlane is no Kirk, and there is no Scotty and stuff like that, basically, right? So there isn't that much nostalgia to it. There was like some familiarity to it, right? But nothing like that's basically like a direct ripoff. Like I said, it's unique enough that you kind of forget about compared to Star Trek after a while until season 3. It's like, oh, it's good. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. The captain's no Kirk. Security officers, there's enough to be respectful, but some differences. Like Babylon 5. Yeah, like Babylon 5, right? You compare every space show to Star Trek, Babylon 5, Stargate, and Firefly. Do you have the womanizing captain, the smart engineer, the wisecracking doctor? You cannot help when you watch a sci-fi show to compare them to the original Star Trek. It's not a habit, right? Even with the new Star Trek show, Switch, did you not find trying to compare the characters to the old series?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sometimes you know what works and you don't fix it.
That's true. Would you think, and I must admit this is kind of impressed with the Orville, they haven't followed the trap, that some actors would, maybe if they're asked to play, like, I want you to play a doctor in Star Trek, you would automatically channel McCoy?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The character in Strange New World, no. Character in Discovery, heck no. Trying to think of the characters I've seen, basically. No. There's one or two I think they've channeled the old show, but not I have to say, if any of them were channeling the old show on the Star Trek, it's engineers. Engineers either feel like Geordi or Scotty. Mandalorian works someone like me that doesn't have this feel of Star Wars stuff and just a bit. That's why Shri likes watching The Mandalorian and the Orville. She doesn't have to know 20 years of history, or 20 years whatever to jump in. Basically,
Mandalorian is fairly standalone,
and you don't even have to know what happened. If you do, it's a bonus.
Yes,
but you don't miss it.
But what it does call back to is kind of the general knowledge that most people already have, or that they feel most people already have. They feel that if you're watching a Star Wars show at all, you're going to know what a Jedi is. You're going to know who Luke Skywalker is. You're going to know what the Force is. Maybe not know exactly how they make a lightsaber or whatever, but you're going to know enough about it to be able to fill in the blanks for yourself and to follow what's going on. And they're not going to tie it to a lot of the back mythology, but they'll tie it to enough of it that it will have some link and some relevance for the new fans and the old fans.
You're welcome. If you can't make it, just skip to season 3. You won't miss much. Trust me. Do look at the recaps. You bring up a really good point, Switz. Talking about not being tied back. I hate to say it. Every time I watch a Star Trek or a Star Wars like spin-off show, I immediately think basically, how much of my face are you going to splash other content? Mandalorian? No problem.
Yep.
Did you see the Ahsoka trailer?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be looking at,
and I don't know how who half those characters are, and that's what I'm kind of enjoying.
Well,
because it's something new.
It's not something new. They're all from the Rebels cartoon.
No, the guys with the orange lightsabers and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all from the Rebels cartoon.
They're from the Rebels?
Inquisitors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So they're not completely new. So watching Ahsoka.
Some of them are new.
Yeah. Watching for Ahsoka.
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah. Watching for Ahsoka, I'm going to see how much it ties back to the Rebels and how much they're going to throw at my face. Now, I watch Rebels.
You know that they're going to do Thrawn.
They have to do Thrawn. We saw Hera.
Yeah.
But you know what? They could do it right, and we may not mind. Yeah, I must admit that D&D movie was done quite well. Yeah, exactly, Pam. And you know what? I'll put it this way. I think it's great that I'll call them casual fans don't watch every show and don't fall in love with every show. I'm a Star Wars junkie. I watch everything. But Shri, she loved Andor, loved The Mandalorian. She'll probably not care too much for Ahsoka because there's too much backstory to it, and that's okay. But the entry level, that D&D movie, I'm totally blown away by it.
Because you saw it, right?
No, but I know enough about what's going on in it. And
okay, I thought you said you saw it already.
A lot of people have seen it, so I know the general vibe. And instead of basically going down the rule book deep and doing all this kind of hooks and all that, they give you a splash. And Pem wants to see it, and that's the whole point. Is if you can get like casual viewers like Pem to see it and enjoy it, bonus, right? And speaking of Ahsoka, like as Pem and his kids they're watch Rebels, they're excited. I agree. Yep. But I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff like D&D. They bring a property, but instead of putting it in your face, like you got to watch all those backstory, you can just roll into it. Excuse me. D&D is neat, but I've never played it.
Yeah. Right. You want to make it accessible to that person because nerdy things are cool again. Geek chic and all that.
100%.
So people have always wanted to be involved and included in whatever the cool property or cool thing is, the water cooler conversations. And so when D&D jumps back into the forefront, you want to be included in it, even though you've never played a game or whatever, but you know what it is. And that's why you want, or you need to, when you create that, make it accessible to the old and the new fans.
100%. And I like
Yep.
I've seen well, I'm about merchandising too, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the spin-off merchandise at Toys R Us.
Yep.
I've seen it. And if you go to the movie, I know some hardcore D&Ders, like 5th edition people. I'm AD&D. I'm super old school. I know so I know some hardcore people are really into it because they didn't insult the source material.
The hardcore fans will always find something
Oh,
to be
yes.
happy with or to not be happy with about whatever you do.
Pick. Yeah.
But what's great about something like D&D here is, or any property that you're adapting for the old and for the new fans, is that you put the little subtle hidden Easter eggs for the hardcore fans. You give them the nods because you know they're there, and you know they're going to pick up on it, and you know that they're going to know why the fish is in the jar on the ledge.
Yep. Exactly.
But it's just a throwaway thing for the casual fan who has no idea what it is.
Exactly. And if the casual fan sees it, enjoys it, wants to know more, mission accomplished. The
Yep.
spin-off material that I was talking about, I've seen them using the cartoon D&D characters in the spin-off material to actually advertise it.
Yep.
You can buy the rule book with a figure of Bobby the Barbarian. Tell me that's not marketing. And I heard that Tiamat and Dengar also make an appearance. So I gotta see it though.
Yeah. Yep.
But I like your point though. If I was making a movie or TV show, and I
Well,
hate to say it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it. Think of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The reboot.
Yep.
They made it accessible for new fans by making it modern and fancy and glittery and shiny and not putting people in rubber suits a lot, and not bumping into the set made of cardboard with the camera. But they also did throw in a lot of references to the classic series so that the hardcore older fans would love it and be able to point out things, and so that they could encourage the new fans to watch the older shows.
Yeah. And if I was a show or movie producer and I was making, let's say I was making a Buck Rogers movie, I'd make it for the general audience, the general average fan.
Yeah.
Hardcore fans, like you said, are gonna find something wrong with everything you don't like.
You want to make it appealing to either movie fans in general or sci-fi fans in general.
Exactly.
The
And that's
ones
what
that
I
have
said.
never heard what Buck Rogers is, or the ones that have just they know the name but they don't know anything else about it.
And again, mission accomplished. Shri loves the new Who.
Yep.
Of course, David Tennant's pretty sexy, so that helps. But that's a good question, Pam. Once I see the movie, I'll let you know. I heard that there's if you look in the background, you can see some of the cartoon characters. I
Yes,
verified that.
I heard that, and I saw the trailer or the clip or something for it, and um,
You know what? They just want to be able to watch and debate it. I must admit, a good film is a good film or TV series is one that people talk about long after
Yeah.
it's over. Like The Watchmen. I love the TV series. Never spoke of it again.
Yeah.
Picard. We'll be talking about that for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, movies that are always in kind of like the popular discussion, the water cooler talk. That's what I want. I want them to be talked about, debated, discussed. Like Star Trek. What was the code that Kirk punched in the third season, whatever kind of thing?
Try Delta 491.
Yeah.
I made that up.
No, you don't. But yeah, Orville, like I said, season 3, pleasant surprise. Son of a.
So yeah, they did do some clever nods and cameos to the cartoon.
Nice. Oh, another thing too, as Chris Pine, I will watch him in anything.
I really loved him in Hell or High Water.
Okay.
Oh, that was an excellent movie.
Yeah, I like Chris Pine. I like the fact that he's really upset too that the next Star Trek film didn't get off the ground is in development limbo. He's really upset at that.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
I started watching Last of Us.
Okay.
About 6 episodes in. If you played the game, you know what's going to happen. It is a wonderfully shot film, wonderfully shot series, well acted. There's enough surprises to keep you guessing and entertained, but it is a very depressing series. So, if you want to watch it, make sure you have some happy juice with you or something to keep you buoyed up.
Sorry, I'm a little hungry.
You
Peanuts,
can't eat,
anyone?
man. It's after 8.
No, I can eat. I'm doing the intermittent fasting, so I can eat between 4 and midnight.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, breakfast images when I come down. I better bring some power bars. Any thoughts, Switz? Any other thoughts?
I think you're just like the waiter who waits for you to have a mouthful of peanuts before you ask him a question.
Anything else? Pem does the 12 to 8, he says, for the intermittent fasting. Like I said,
You do the 12
car,
to 8, Tim?
yeah.
So does that mean like between 12 and 8 is when you can eat? So basically you're giving yourself a lunch and a dinner. I did the if you follow this 16 and 8 hours or whatever, 16 hours of fasting, whatever, it's really pretty easy, I find, because for 6 or 8 of it or whatever, you're asleep. And I find being at work or whatever, I just wake up, shower, go to work, skip breakfast, skip lunch, get home, and do my meal at the end of the night. And for a snack, I've cut out a lot of the stuff. Like potato chips are the greatest thing on the planet for snacking, but now it's a couple of handfuls of peanuts and raisins. And hopefully that will help get me a little healthier. We'll see. But yeah, the late night snacking and just snacking in general is hard. That's why I gave myself the 4 to midnight window, and I'm kind of liberal with it because like tonight I didn't get home until like 8 o'clock from work, so I didn't eat anything until 8:30. So technically, I could go. I could eat until 1 a.m. if I wanted to. I guess I would just have to push my start time to eat tomorrow back until 5 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock. But I never started eating at 4 o'clock anyway. So technically, I guess I'm not really doing a 16-8. I'm doing more like an 18-8 or sorry, an 18-6. Yeah, and it's all about discipline and training and just habits, I guess. Really. No, I don't follow subreddit, but shoot me a link or whatever and let me know what I should be looking at. I did. I find it personally very easy to just not eat for a long period of time in there. I did the keto diet a couple years ago and lost a lot of weight with it, but then life happened and I just fell off of the wagon, so to speak, and was not in a good enough place to meal plan it and stuff like that to continue on with it. And then just got lazy and didn't decide to go back to it because the keto is a good diet if you want to lose weight, but it's fairly hard. I found maybe not just hard, but boring because the meals all seem to really be the same. It was like, oh, I guess I'll have chicken again. And since I made a whole lot of chicken last night, I guess we'll have chicken leftovers tonight. But I find the intermittent fasting decent because there don't seem to be a whole lot of restrictions on what you can eat. You don't really have to count calories or watch carbs as much as you did with keto and that. So you have some freedom to enjoy some food, and as long as you stay disciplined and don't overdo it, you don't try and cram 4 meals into 8 hours there, you should have some success, I think. I hope. Excuse me. Any other thoughts there, sir?
Nope. Just ready to go to bed myself.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Yeah, this was
Oh,
good. We
exactly.
went almost 2.5 hours here.
Oh, exactly. We got talking about keto diets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll do this again. Like I said, I'm off seeing my mom next week, and I've got a co-stream the co-stream the following week. We'll see. Maybe about 3 weeks out. I'll think of a topic or something.
Well, that 3 weeks would be 1, 2, 3. That'd be the beginning of May there, right? Or the 11th of May, I guess.
Yes,
So,
that would be right.
yep, could be
Or
could
is
be
retrospect?
interesting. We could definitely come up with some stuff by then. Um,
Well, Pam, I'll be online, Twitter
yeah,
wise and stuff like that. Well, like I said, May the 4th is coming up. We need to talk about Star Wars stuff.
yeah, yeah.
We could
We
break
could
down.
jump one in before or when you're back or whatever. You're going to your
Yeah,
mom's next week and that, and then the week after was what? Sorry.
I've got like co-stream to do and stuff like that. So I'm going to be doing some Fortnite on a Thursday.
Hmm.
But the following week, we should talk maybe about some of the Star Trek spinoffs in Disney and the Star Wars spinoffs in Disney.
Yeah. Well,
Because
we really should do that on the 4th of May.
well, I'll be playing Fortnite, so
Well, how long are you playing Fortnite for?
a couple hours, I'm going to bed. 'Cause I'm tired.
Come on.
No,
Channel that
tired.
inner Nighthawk.
No, I'm good for the week of the 8th or something. You want something for the week of the 8th?
All right.
All right, Pam.
I think
I'll
we
see you
all have
later.
to go to bed.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, Pam.
All right, Switz. Catch you on the
All
flip
right.
side.
Thank you,
Okay.
Hemi. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thanks for sticking in some comments there. We had some fun, I think.
Definitely.
As always, if you guys think of any topics you want us to cover or whatever, let us know. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on Twitch. Let us know wherever you can find us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Well,
have a good night. Until next
all right.
time. Have a
Yep.
good one. There's
You
Switz.
too, everyone. Thank you. Everyone have a good night. Stay
Cheers.
safe. Have fun.
Yep.
Don't do anything
Yep.
we wouldn't do. We don't do a lot, so you guys are pretty free to do things. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Ciao, Switz.
All right. Night, everyone.